Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Jay.
Are you a dealer for these?
Yep, we're a Maserati, Porsche, Land Rover, Jaguar, and Mercedes-Benz dealer here in town.
I've got a 62 3500 GT.
Okay.
Yeah, the new ones are nice.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. You know, it's I don't know, the fit and finish feels fantastic.
Yeah, they finally got the Italian thing going properly, not like the old days.
What's your daily driver that you normally,
don't really have a daily driver. I just kind of swap off a little bit. I have two cars I use all the time. I use my Model T to get around town because
it's going to be a great sight.
Well, it's unbreakable, and you never really go much of a 45 in town anyway, and you can park it anywhere. Nobody can steal it.
Because you have to crank it up.
And if you, no, they had electric starters. And if you, if you crumple a fender, it's $175 for a fender painted.
No kidding.
Yeah, I mean, there's still a million T's on the road, so they're kind of fun and they're a conversation piece. And like today, I drove my McLaren 12C. That's a great car.
You've got a P1 on order too, correct?
Yeah, right.
That's pretty exciting.
Jeez, that's an incredible car. I've got a Carrera GT.
Yeah, incredible car.
I like that because it's the last manual transmission supercar probably produced in Europe, where the transmission was made specifically for the car,
Yep.
Now everything is, I like the dual clutch gearboxes. They're nice, but you lose something.
Yeah.
Have you driven a 918?
I have not. I was in one in Detroit here about a month and a half ago.
Okay.
One of our customers has one on order that should show up here in the next couple of months. But,
it's incredible.
What was actually the first car you bought? I know you've probably been asked that a million times.
First car I bought? You mean when I was a kid?
Yeah, like your first car that you just bought for yourself.
Ford pickup truck, yeah.
Okay.
Bought then I was 14 and then worked on it for a couple of years until I got my license.
Okay, gotcha.
So that was fun.
Started off with a project car.
Well, yeah, that's kind of what that's what you sort of did back then. In the old days, dads are pretty handy with cars. It just had to be.
Yeah.
And nowadays, most, the kids that work for me, interns, their dads don't know how to change a tire, so they consequently don't know how to change a tire. So you kind of have to go back to square one all the time.
I had a reckoning. My girlfriend's uncle is like the gatekeeper in their family and does the gauntlet and everything, and he actually made me change the brakes on his Range Rover as an acceptance.
Well, that's very good. That sounds like he and I would hit it off just fine.
He and like there was one lug nut that was like over torqued on it, and he had me specifically go through them and tighten them and figure out which one was. And
wow, that's
pass the test, and it was.
That's good. Any torque wrenches is lug nuts. That's excellent.
Yeah. So, your collection, we're auctioning off a tour of the collection.
Yeah, sure.
How many cars are in the collection?
About 123, something like that. And about 90 motorcycles.
How long did you? When did you really start collecting and adding to it?
I never really thought of it as collecting because they're all registered.
Yep.
They're all
driving.
I just like projects and it's fun to work on stuff. And I mean, there's some exotic cars there, but there's some ordinary cars that are fun. I like Corvairs. I like Mustangs. Love Corvairs, actually. Fantastic car. Just any car that was quirky or ahead of its time, in its time. That's what I tend to like. Oddball stuff.
What's your most recent acquisition of something that you're working on or you have a project planned for?
I bought a Mercedes 600 72. The most complex.
Is that the Grosser or
the Grosser? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's got to be
hydraulically operated windows and seats and trunk lid. The trunk lid was broken, and it was 3 days.
Oh my gosh.
And the trunk lid has the trunk lock has pistons with piston rings on it that move back and forward and lock. I mean, it's the most complex. I used to work in a Mercedes dealer when I was a kid, so I had to deliver them, and it was like, I thought it was the greatest car ever. It's just unbelievable.
It had everything.
And hydraulics, so the windows go. Back then, electric motors were too big, too clunky to fit in most doors. So consequently, you had big, wide doors. Mercedes wanted to have a thin door, so they ran hydraulic lines through everything. But there's no sound. You touch the window, it goes. I mean, it's
incredible for the time, even
but
now.
It's a nightmare to work on. It's so complex.
How hard is it to get parts for that car?
Each window switch,
Yeah.
$11,500.
No.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
So you have to rebuild them. Yeah, so you kind of have to do all that. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, the hydraulic cylinder that opens and closes the trunk, $22,000. I mean, it's
Everything costs money.
Yeah, I mean, it was the only car Mercedes ever built that was a money no object car.
Like every world leader had that car that didn't have their own domestic production.
Every dictator had that
Saddam
car.
Hussein had one.
Yes, Hussein had one, Ceausescu. I mean, all the crazy. Oh, are we here already?
Yep.
Cool.
We are here. So appreciate all the time and
Oh, thank
answering
you.
some of the questions. Most
Sure,
of those
thanks.
came from our Facebook fans. And
Thanks.
I'll walk up with